Now that you've created your Google account, you're ready to use some of Google's tools. Make sure that you've signed in, and across the top, I'd like you to go to the product called Google Drive. Google Drive is simply an online storage system for documents that you might want to share. On the left side menu, click on the Create button. Now you'll have a few options. You can create a document, a presentation, a spreadsheet, and a Google form. Though we'll be focusing on the form, briefly I can describe the document as the closest to Microsoft Word. Key difference: 50 people can be working on this document in real time. The same goes for presentation, which is much like PowerPoint, and the spreadsheet, which is just like Excel. At this point in time, it's very hard to find competitors that offer the same kind of collaborative tools as Google. They're quite remarkable. Go ahead and click on Google Form. First thing you need to do is to choose a theme and to give it a title. So let's call this Staffing 2013-2014. Choose a theme, and although Google doesn't offer very many, it doesn't really matter in the end. So I've chosen Magazine. At any time that you want to change your theme, simply click on the theme button up on the top left corner. If you want to know what your live form will look like, click on View Live Form. And then I'll show you the responses as we go along as well. You should have a document that you might have used before to collect your staff's responses for placement in the following year. Go ahead and pull that up. I have a sample here called Staffing for Next Year. What I'm going to do is simply copy the introductory sentence and pluck it right into my form here in the form description. So please return this form to John by noon on Wednesday. Thank you. Right away, just below, I have questions that I can add. As you can see, there's really only one there, but you can add as many as you like. So the question title is really, what is your question? My first question is, well, what's your first name? So simply clicking on the question title, I'll type in first name. Anytime I'm using names, I'll just use a text box. If you click on Done, in essence you're saying that the form is complete, but instead you can add another item. In this case, I want the last name. Again, it's a text. Then I'll click another item. Going back to my form now, I have some options that I'd like to exercise. For example, I'd like to know which staff are coming back next year and which ones are going on leave. So I have many options here, and I have a checkbox option as well. Well, Google Forms allows you to do that. Under question type, I'll click on checkboxes. And the beauty of Google is that all you have to do is click on the box and it'll create another box for you. So I'll just copy and paste. I'll click on another box, or I'll add another one, and I go back to my form and I'll copy and paste. The beauty is I can add all kinds of different questions. If I click on Add Item, you will see that I can have any type of question that's listed here. Text. I can have a paragraph if I want them to share something that requires more space. Multiple choice, check boxes. They can choose from a drop-down list. I can give them a scale, and they can also have a grid type question as well. I encourage you to try all of them. But for the sake of simplicity, take what you already have and bring it over simply into Google Docs. You do it once, it'll save you a lot of time in the future. The great thing about Google Docs is that once it's complete, you can go to this link and click on View Live Form. That looks pretty sharp. First name, last name, here's my checkboxes, etc. Okay? Once you've viewed your form and you're happy, on the top right corner, here's your option to send the form. When you click on Send Form, you can send it in many different ways. You can send it as a link and then copy it to your Outlook distribution list, or you can send it directly here via email. But here you'd have to copy and paste all of your Outlook contacts. So highly recommend grabbing the link and sending it out that way. Now, how do you collect the responses? The responses belong to the owner of the form. That's you. Everybody else will just have a submit button at the very bottom. When they click on submit, it will enter into a Google spreadsheet, and I'm about to show that to you. So let's try one. So John Doe, and he's taking leave, and I'll click on submit. If you go back into your Google Drive, you will now see that you have two forms. You have one form, which is the original, the one that you created, and you'll have a new form that has the responses. As you can see here, it's telling me that it has some responses available. I have two things I can do. I can show a summary of responses, which gives me a text summary, which is pretty nice, I guess, as an overview. But what I'd like to do is make sure when I click on View Responses, that it creates a spreadsheet for me. And this is what's most useful for me as a user. Once I have the spreadsheet, I get a timestamp, and I can download the spreadsheet as a Microsoft Excel, as a PDF, a CSV, etc. Finally, if I do work with a team of administrators at my school, I can share this with them so that we all have access to it. And there you have it. Those are your first steps to using Google Docs, especially using Google Forms.